Okay, we're good now, Chief, but we just have to see your face.
Okay, so it's bringing me up. So you can see me and we're live now, right?
Yeah, we're live, but we can't see your face. We
Right,
see
Mommy.
Andre Jr.'s face. So turn your camera on.
Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. 1 minute, Facebook family, YouTube. I am the engineer. Okay, so Giselle, until I get this figured out, and you can see everybody else's face, I remember where everybody is, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is Andre Hill with the Straight Talk Morning Show. You can't see me, but I'm here in the background. We have a full panel today, and I'm managing the engineering. As you can tell, we always have issues. So we're gonna get it started out. Today we have the chairman of the United Aboriginal American Republic. How you doing, Chairman?
Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing fine. Got a beautiful day here in the Detroit city, sunny, in the probably upper 50s, looking for a 60 possibly today. But other than that, I feel great. Thank you.
All right. So you say it's in the 60s in Detroit?
It's getting close to the 60s. I'd say it's probably about 55, something like that. I'm
I
looking on
got you.
my screen, but I don't see the degree. But
All
it's a
right. Hey,
beautiful day.
wonderful. Mama Kelly, you're in right outside of Atlanta, right in the old neighborhood where I used to live when I was in Atlanta. How are things going up there?
Well, we've had rain, which of course I'm very, very happy. And things are going as they do when you're living amongst squatters. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
No, well, I think I know, but you might want to break that down for us.
Well, let's listen to the other ladies come in and say hello, and then we'll talk about these squatters.
Oh, okay. All right. So up in New York, we got Holly. How are you doing this morning, Holly?
Beautiful rising. I'm feeling great to be here.
All right.
And the
And
weather out here is
also,
okay.
say what now?
Oh no, I said the weather's out here is okay. Almost reaching 60.
I got you. All right. Also, we have Morena. You in Northeast Georgia, right?
Yes, I am in the Evans, basically Augusta area. And yes, I'm enjoying this rain, especially from a yard. And I definitely understand Mama Kali about these squatters. Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right. So that's I've just about covered everybody except I'm still working on getting this camera, and I don't want to click the wrong button and kill the whole show. So we have an interesting show coming up this morning. Mama Kelly, give us some insight on who the squatters are.
Well, they're the first of the mostly those who, okay, after the invasion of our nation, Turtle Island, they sent all of their unwanted. There you are. Hey, all right, you're
I'm
getting
getting there.
good, huh?
I taught him everything he knew about computers. Now he's got to teach me. Did they say something about the children? You become a child twice.
Yes.
Okay.
And pretty much I know about that. The whole thing about it though is that only in the physical body do you become a child twice. I know my mind keeps running so much and so fast and so furiously that it takes away some sleep. But I rest. But let's talk about these squatters.
All right.
They really believe that they have the upper hand in this land. Now, why is that? Because we won't stand up for ourselves.
Exactly.
A few of us are aware of what time it is, but most of us are not. We are thinking that we can go to some ballot box and vote for somebody we don't know, who has been put forward because were given a lot of money to run and promised more if they voted for a certain number of squatters. Okay? They sent their unwanted people over here. And you know that Georgia was a penal colony. Now, all the rest of them, y'all have seen them boats load of poor Europeans come over here from the late 1890s to the 1920s. Hey, they had on rags, not that defines you, but they had nothing. And they actually thought that we were not supposed to be here. That's what they were told. Now we got everybody, every race in the world coming over here, looking down on us, and beginning to actually try to tell us what to do. And since we are so stupid as a people, not all of us, that we sit down and let these Negroes that we don't even know make decisions because we think they're there for us. You know, look, they don't ever work in our behalf, never. But you let some other so-called person of color or LGBT or whatever, or white women even, want something or cry or complain. You know, white woman crying, honey, that's power. You know, and you know, and they get what they want. These Negroes that we vote for will support them, but not us. One of the things that really pisses me off is we cannot learn that that Black has no standing in law. We don't get it. If there is nobody called race, ethnic group, or anything that is in the legal documents and treaties of this country, then that means you're not included. Okay? And the 1964 Civil Rights Act said it was for American Indians. We thought it was for Negroes because they had all them Negroes standing around Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was a straight up Klansman from Texas. And you know, they switched parties. That's probably some of the history you don't know, or younger people probably don't know, that what was that party called? Do you remember, Andre? You remember what that party was called when the white folks switched parties? It was a Deep South party. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter what name is. We know what they were all about. Right. So Lyndon Baines Johnson did a Civil Rights Act, and they had Martin Luther King and all them Negroes standing around, you know, grinning, because, you know, there was a Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act. I think that came in 1967, I'm not sure. But the Civil Rights Act was for American Indians. Now, why isn't it that all these scholars out here talking on YouTube are not teaching us that. Some of them are. Some of them are. But we don't take the time to listen to them. We busy listening to what the celebrities and all of that, and that's one thing. And watching the football, basketball, I don't think we watch baseball anymore. Track and all that's good. Those are our games. Did nothing come out of Europe?
Exactly.
They tried to give basketball to a white man, but we were doing that. The Olmecs did that. They got, in some of the temple complexes, down in Mexico and further down, they got courts.
Yeah.
With basketball rings.
Jensen Inset.
Uh-huh. And they made balls out of rubber. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So all those games are ours. I'm not getting on mostly our men for doing that, engaging in that, but they ain't doing nothing else. Why aren't you out here even telling your children that those games are ours?
Exactly.
And there were competitions within, maybe this tribe is competing with that tribe, and a lot of times it's about who's going to be the king. Okay? And the one who won was the one who became the ruler. All right? And so this is what I'm talking about, these squatters. And now this so-called Supreme Court. And see, I woke up with folks sending me messages about, the Supreme Court took our voting rights away from us. Don't you know that if you are Aboriginal, you have first claim to the land? But we ain't doing that. And I'm pissed.
We're going to give some receipts today, Mama Kelly. So, Giselle, if you can load up that that video on how we were whitewashed, we're hopeful that we can wake our people up by bringing the receipts forward and demonstrate exactly how this system was implemented to initiate the final test to the Aboriginal, the Coppertone people. And this video will give you some basic explanation as to how it happened. Well, of course, a lot of us are familiar with the Willie Lynch letter. And let's see what we got going on. Okay, so, and if you remember in the Willie Lynch letter, it will give us, it said, take your sperm or your seed and create a variation of colors. That was one of the original divisive measure that divided us up into communities, So depending on the color code, that determined whether you work in the fields or you lived in the big house. So we got the issue going on here with this screen. So while Giselle gets that, there we go.
Oh, I know him.
No, that's the second one. That's the second video. We want to play the other one.
He dropped some jewels.
Yeah,
I like him.
We're gonna bring him up next on how the economic karma is about to hit America, and maybe at that point in time, we can wake our people up. Marina, are you familiar with the Willie Lynch letter?
Oh yes, I remember back in the day when I was about 16. believe back in 94. I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and what now I know is that was during the time in New York when the whole lecture circuit was going around in New York. I didn't know these things because I was in Washington State. Very few of us is out there. But we ended up having apparently a lecture circuit there, and that's where I learned about the Willie Lynch letter. Yes.
So that document, you know, and I've said over on this show over and over again, you know, Caucasian people were not brilliant enough to come up with such a scientific document, and it was given to them by, well, to certain slave masters by an advanced civilization. Hey, Holly, are you familiar with the implementation of the Willie Lynch letter?
Yes, I just recently, kind of maybe about 5 years ago. And when I read that letter, I was like, wow, and I can really see it like for what it is. I see what he wrote, and I'm like, wow. So yes, I've just really became familiar with that letter.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, once again, while Giselle get the videos together, we have to understand that this system, as Mama Kelly was saying, this system was never designed for us to participate in it. And we keep looking for means and measures to fix it, or, you know, let's go vote and let's vote these folks out. As long as they're controlling the narrative and the computer, the keyboard on this political economic system, there's never going to be. They will either change the rules or, as we say, move the goalposts. So we can never, you know, struggling and talking about how we're going to fix this thing. You know, here's one way. And I know this is evident because I tried to set up a PAC here in the state of Florida. And man, the chairman can attest to this. They gave us so many problems because they knew that was the start of having an effect on the economic system. Hey, Giselle, whenever you can get that one going, just hit play whenever you can get it going, and I'll back up on it. Yeah, and so the chairman will call me up. Hey man, they asking for reports every other day. And it was okay,
is the answer. 3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation or 3rd cross, no trace of native.
I'm glad you brought this up because that's what I wanted to talk about.
Origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. The Aboriginal has simply been bred out.
So white elites came up with a plan to systemically, physically, and culturally wipe out black people. How did the region do it? Mass white European immigration while banning the immigration of non-whites. Welcome to the Blancamiento and Brancamiento period, which literally mean to whiten. The goal was for future generations to no longer have visibly black and indigenous people, so that the national identities in these new nations would be associated with whiteness. In this period, elites aimed to make black people disappear through their gradual absorption into the white race. Over 10 million European immigrants settled in Latin America between 1880 and 1930, with 90% of them going to Argentina, Uruguay, Cuba, and Brazil. Brazil even went as far as to pay for transportation costs from Europe and passed a law making European immigrants automatic citizens as soon as they arrived. European immigrants were given preference over black people in jobs, housing, and education, and the impacts of this are still felt today. Today, over 78% of Afro-Brazilians live below the poverty line.
Okay, so Morena, you had a comment on that one?
I'm sorry. And I totally just started talking while the video was going on. Please forgive me because I just had this conversation this week. Okay, I might ruffle some feathers. I might, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. So I was seeing a video by one of my Dominican friends. Now, he's still in on the level of he I'd rather have him in the RBG movement than the blancamiento mentality. I have to give him that. You know, but it's very difficult to get him over to look, bro, you're indigenous. So long story short, he sends me a video from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing when she was on Donahue. And she was talking about, how how we're dominant and the Caucasians, they are recessive. And when we mix, with them, then they, they'll disappear. And I said, bro, with all due respect, I disagree. I said, because of the mere fact of just this video, go figure. I'd never seen this video, but I know the history. I know the history of what happened in Latin America with the blancamiento, the mestizo crap that our people went through in Latin America. And I'm telling you, I also, I ruffle feathers when I tell folks that our people in Latin America go through worse racism that we go through in the Americas. Because if you look at their media, they make it their business to make sure that you don't see our sisters at all. They'll allow the brothers because, they'll allow the brothers to be musicians, but they will always make it a factor to make our women disappear, And I try to explain to my Dominican brother, look, bro, this whole thing with what happened in Australia, the same thing. The same thing happened in Mexico. Same thing happened in the Dominican Republic with Trujillo. This whole thing of whitening, they make it in the United States. They make it their business to bleed us out. Why are we not understanding this? It's so, they have the same laws in Latin America with the one drop rule. It's here. It's just so that's all I wanted to say. It's just so ironic. I tell you, all of us are on the same mindset. So I should not be surprised that we are all in the same mindset of what we need to discuss. This is major.
Absolutely. And Mama Kelly, you think this is a valid video?
Yes, because it was their intent to breed us out. But they really haven't been successful. The only reason that we have, I don't know whether it's the best word to use, so-called progressed, is because we're smarter than them. And they can't do without us. Okay? Now, their belief now is that they can put AI and replace us, but they still haven't figured out how to kill us out. And I'm talking about those on the main Turtle Island. I don't know why, the others. Well, I do know that even, the Mexican TV, I forget what it's called here in America.
Univision.
What is it called?
Univision.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They recruit in their ads. They say if you too brown or too black, honey, you can't even come in here and try to get a job. We don't care who you are. They must project that white skin. Mm-hmm. You see, because to keep people thinking that whites are the dominant people in the world. Well, it's just not true. The only problem is that we have not asserted our power as owners of the land. We have not done that. And that's all over the world. Some of them have now. I remember, as a matter of fact, was that Solomon Island? I think they fought those people off. Was it Solomon Island over there?
Hmm.
And they are independent. Did you say something, Marina?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to think. I know that like Haiti, with the revolution, I know they got rid of the French. I do know that, but Solomon Island, that's new information for me.
Yeah, that's in the South Indian Ocean.
Mm.
And they were so rich, that the Europeans came in there, Australians, they are squatters, Australians.
Oh,
Mhm.
They
yes.
came in there and tried to kill off all the folks, because they wanted the minerals. And so, the people, the indigenous people, fought them off with all of the machinery that they left. They call it the Coconut Revolution. You can find it on YouTube. They actually fired up those old tools that had been left after they ran those people off, fired them up, used some coconut oil, and that's why they called it the Coconut Revolution. And they ended up actually expelling the people from the island. Okay, now they're very rich now. And I haven't followed them closely recently because I have been concentrating on what can we do to move our people forward here. So what our trouble? I don't think that it's so much color now, although it's still underlined, but I don't think it's so much color now as, okay, well, who do you know? And what secret society are you a part of? And what college did you get miseducated in? And that is what, and how much are you going to actually support the agenda, which used to be the agenda of the American whites? It's now the agenda of the small hats. Do y'all know who the small hats are? Okay, you ain't supposed to say their name.
Mm.
It's a
Okay.
crime. It's a crime to say their names, especially in New York. Well, who rules in New York? Hmm?
Oh, can I say the name?
You know who I'm talking about. Are you in Queens or Brooklyn?
Oh, I'm in Harlem.
Oh, okay. All
Oh,
right.
but I already know. I've been up and down in Queens and Brooklyn, so I know who you're talking about.
You know who
Well,
I'm talking about.
Well, Holly, I had a very intense conversation with a New Yorker this morning, and this color code system, they're starting to evict the elderly there. And so just give us a take on your experience with this color code system, and what do you think is going on there?
What I think is going on is our people are not standing up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I want the people to know, in numbers, we are great.
Mhm.
Okay, one person can't do it, two people can't do it. In numbers, we are great. We are the majority.
Mhm.
Yes.
We're really not the minority. We are the majority, and we've been taught, and we're so suppressed to think that we are. Now, if we stand up and start taking over, and I think this is happening because they know that our land is here. I seen that they tried to evict a lot of people from their townhouses in Brooklyn.
Mm.
That's going on, but they standing up because they know that this land is really ours, and they're trying to push. They're trying to push it to where they don't want us to know that. A lot of people don't know that this is your land here, but they don't have the paperwork or anything to back that up. So they're just being pushed out. And then especially the elderly, they're elderly, so they don't know, and they don't have anybody to speak for them. This is why they're targeting the elderly first.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I just wish that, our activists that we're supposed to have do that, but they have other agendas in mind. They have money in mind. So they're really not our activists. So that's what's
Exactly.
going on here in New York.
Mhm.
Racial annihilation. That's what's on their mind.
Yes.
So Holly, we're gonna partner up with we got a couple of groups. I spoke to this gentleman this morning, and we met in St. Louis, and he's a powerful brother. And but I think what they're missing is the Aboriginal collective, because
Yes.
if we bring all our tribes together and issues like that coming up in New York, then we can send our legal team, our security team, and our economic team to start going after the individuals that's initiating this and shut this down. So
We
Well,
need to, because we're
definitely
being bullied right now.
they're being bullied.
Yes, we're being bullied.
Whoa.
It's the same people,
Mhm.
those small hats.
Yep.
I saw how they are going from door to door,
Yes.
stealing the land of our people there in New York. I just saw that on a video this week.
Mhm.
Stealing the land.
Yelling it.
Hey, Chairman, you've been quiet lately. So, what's your experience with the color code system, and what's the trend going on in Detroit?
Well, with the color code system, there's a lot of integration going on in the Detroit area. And now that we've got the black female mayor, it's opening up a lot of doors. Female power is powerful. You never heard of a female mayor being black in Detroit, which has always been the majority of the people. But yeah, it's a change coming. I feel it in the air. But sports is causing a lot of people to come on board as far as breaking this prejudice, going, breaking that line of resistance that they never wanted you to live in certain neighborhoods. It's just it's getting better. I don't hate to see it because it's a good thing, but it's the sports that's causing it. We're getting the money, we're getting paid, and we've got to recognize that, we have to make it better, and with the money, you can afford to make it better. If you don't have no money, you can't move into certain neighborhoods. Before, you used to have to get a white friend to purchase a house for you outside of the Detroit area. But now you don't have to do that anymore. And I think it's a good thing. But we need more people involved to, for this movement to make these changes that's necessary, so you can just feel free wherever you want to go. Even up before, you couldn't go way up northern part of Michigan, but now you got blacks living in the Upper Peninsula. So yeah, we just have to continue to fight for our rights and keep moving to get that freedom, and it's going to work out. And with group like ours, we're coming together, we're increasing in numbers, and we're just waking up the people, not only the black people, the white people too, because they know they can't continue to use that Willie Lynch mentality on us. We're getting more educated. More women are getting educated, and that's helping too, because you got a lot of black sisters that, got those degrees, those doctorates, and the people aren't putting up with what they put up in the past. So that's the way I see it.
Well, hold your peace. I want to come back to you to get the latest update on 3i Atlas and what happened to David Wilcox. I know. I think I surprised you this morning. I told
you did.
He mysteriously died suicidal, and we know that didn't happen. But we as we bring this whole thing together, Mama Kelly, Samian Toko. On the advertisement yesterday, I talked about Samian Toko and the supernatural miracles associated with him. Can you elaborate a little bit on what really happened with him?
Okay, Simeon Toko, many of us have never heard of him. There was a brother on 363, Empire 363 last week who did talk about Simeon Toko. I have been aware of him for about the last 25 or 30 years. But he was born in the Congo. And he actually began as a child showing unusual powers. And as he grew older, he became so powerful that they began to think that he was the Christ. And so, or the return of the Jesus Christ that everybody looking, because of his powers, okay? They did everything to try to kill that man. And he survived everything. The last attempt, they cut him up in pieces, they ground him up, they threw him out of a plane, and he reappeared before them. This is true. And this is why, we don't hear about him. But the one, he did die naturally, but he said before he left, hey, look, many will come just like me. So they have been looking for that one who's coming or has come with those powers. And not only that, I believe that when we all tap into our heart, our mind, and our spirit, we will all have those powers. Because all of the holy books have told us that we just got to look inside.
Exactly.
Look inside.
But everything they do is to direct us outside of ourselves. And Simeon Toko was real. They called him the Christ. Like, the Europeans still don't believe he's gone, even though he told them that he was going to leave, but others would come with the same powers. And so that's one of the reasons why they look at us at birth, do an astrological chart, look at our lineage, and decide who they want to track and perhaps even destroy. And so we have a lot of these young people. That's one of the reasons so many of our men are in jail, because they tagged them from birth. They do not want that rise of a real Messiah. They'll give us a Messiah every day, and put them up there in Congress, or put them in front of a church group and declare, but when we look behind the curtain, they're over there at Epstein Island. And a whole lot of our preachers have been there. And have bought into that. So Simeon Toko told us, and he was real. He told us that others will come with the same powers. So we better be looking at our children who are coming through us.
Those are the star seeds.
So he was born. He was born in 1918 and died in 1984. And the story I found in my research was limited, that they removed his heart from his chest and he asked for it back.
Yes. Yes.
So, I think that we bring these receipts forward and everybody on this panel know that we have one mission, one purpose, is to raise the frequency on this planet, primarily to our people. And hopefully it'll spill over with the Caucasians to understand that, karma is real. Hey, Giselle, can you load up that video about what's about to happen? And while the chairman give us an update on 3i Atlas and expand on Brother Wilcox.
Okay, with Brother Wilcox, that was a shock when you told me he committed suicide, because he affirmatively said that he would never commit suicide. If anything ever happened to him, don't believe that it was suicide. Now, a lot of people didn't know, but they said that David Wilcock was reincarnated from Edgar Casey. And if you look at the two of them, you can't tell the difference, really. You know, and we all know Edgar Casey was one of the top psychics on the planet. Well, David was really good psychic too, but he was a guy that every time I watched this program or something, I just felt nothing but truth coming out. He would say things and it just make me want to clap, because this is what I wanted to hear, you know, trying to bring the people together. But I can understand if they killed him, the reason why they killed him, because he had too much knowledge and he wanted to bring it all out. He wasn't one to be afraid, you know, and he worked close with this Gaia, you know, network, you know, and would be on their show explaining about extraterrestrials and what his thoughts were, you know. So, hey, that's a shock to hear that he's been disposed of through suicide, and wasn't no suicide. Yes, Mama Kelly.
Yes, actually, he's one of the people who actually talked about Simeon Toko.
Okay.
What?
I actually heard him talking about Simeon Toko one time.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
And
news.
he was a Snow White boy,
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
shock.
but he was real.
Yes.
There are a few of them out there,
That's right.
but you
Mm.
can't
That's
let
right.
them in.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so hey, Giselle, go ahead and hit that start button on this video. Is, you know, to our people that's trying to hold on to the system, we got to get prepared and start building our own system, because they're gonna crash this system. It's a desperation move, just like in when the stock market crashed. You know, a lot of them guys started jumping out of windows because they didn't see any other way of surviving without this system. But go ahead, hit it, Giselle. It's on mute. There we go.
I think she's on mute.
No person with any sort of a conscience whatsoever would lift a... No, the self-destruction of the United States of America is by far the most deserved downfall in human history. And no person with any sort of a conscience, no person with any sort of a conscience whatsoever would lift a finger to prevent it. And I'm telling you, it is an insult to every single person of every single nation that your country ever terrorized, to every individual of every nation that your country ever robbed or exploited or massacred. It's an insult to everyone that they are oppressing right now and throughout their monstrous history. It's an insult to every enslaved ancestor of every African, to every ancestor of every Native American. It's an insult to the ancestor of every Filipino, every Hawaiian, every Puerto Rican, every Mexican. It's an insult to the people of Iraq, to the people of Afghanistan, to the Palestinians, and the list is endless. It's an insult to literally the hundreds of millions of Uncle Sam's victims. For you to want to avert his punishment in any way whatsoever, because you have the gall to come here and tell us that he still has a good heart and there's a chance that he can change. No.
All right, so we got a little buffering problem, but basically what this guy is saying, he's reaffirming that karma is coming to America, and you're seeing it, the tornadoes, the weather patterns, you know, and I did ran across a video, but the guy was posting it about this place in Fort, Mississippi, where they were hanging people in the town. But this happened in 2000 and about 5 or 6 years ago. The town was totally decimated by a tornado. But this is karma. This is karma, and so we're sitting with complacency. Saying, well, it's the white man. My check is gonna keep coming. It'll always keep coming. But everything has a season. Hey, Morena, what's your take on the karma coming to the U.S.?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I've lost faith because, when it comes to karma, I'm thinking to myself, okay, is it that we're waiting for the biggest moment to explode and then they'll receive their just due dessert? They're steady going. I'm just sitting here and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. And not sure what town that was in Mississippi, but that's where my people come. Well, I don't know, but that sounds like the Delta. My maternal line is from the Delta, Anguilla Comita, when we're talking about that tornado thing. So yeah, I'm just sitting here and I'm just watching. Mama Kali?
Yes. You remember the two eclipses that came over America? The first one in 2000, total eclipse. First one in 2017, and the second one in 2023, I believe, that made an A across America. Wow. That was the judgment that America would be in judgment. And it is absolutely true. America, or should not America so much as the squatters, because they are the one who actually created this demonic system that we're all attempting to stay alive in.
Exactly.
They are the ones who created this demonic system. And believe y'all got to remember, everybody that gets into office, I don't care what level it is, if they look like us, it don't mean that they are our friend.
Exactly.
Generally, when they get into office, they have taken big money from somebody. And they have to actually produce and perform for those somebodies. So the judgment, and they knew it when the eclipse crossed America and made that ALF, the first alphabet, that was the sign that judgment was here. And I've been talking to a couple of people, and I've been expressing that, we don't know whether this country is going to collapse in 60 days or 6 years. We don't know, but we know it's collapsing. So we have to protect ourselves, get ourselves ready. Why are we still here, copper colored people? Is because we got out of their system. We fled to the hills when they sent those armies through. They called them, what was that? The Trail of Tears.
Yes.
Most of us left. Ran to the hills because they didn't know how to find us, our land. We knew where to go.
Exactly.
That's why we are still copper color. And we are various colors of copper. If you remember, because a lot of people think that if you're light skinned, then you had to be mixed with white. No, that's not true.
Exactly.
Mhm. Many of our tribes, especially in the northern areas, are very dark, light-skinned people. I mean, light-skinned copper people,
Mhm.
white copper people. They weren't all dark colors. And the ghost to put a penny in the rain in the air for a few days and see how black it gets.
Mm.
Copper. That's what copper is.
So Morena, that was Rolling Fork, Mississippi, and
Yep.
that tornado hit in 2023. But they were known for there was a serious hanging in 1942, and but I couldn't find any other incidents beyond that one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's outside of where my people are from. My grandfather, which, talked to the family and everything, in which how I learned from it was through my mother, where, he would be walking, wherever, and you would see in the neighborhoods, like in the foresty areas, of children, women, and men dead in the woods, just laying sprawled out, just it's a shame, so that's what it reminds me of, with yeah, it continues. And I don't know if you all heard of Reverend Isaac Williams. That's I don't know where. I can't remember where he's from, but he was the one with the 270 acres of land, and they lynched him, cut out his tongue. But before he was lynched, they had they were threatening him to get off the land because they suspected that he had oil on his land. So he ended up going to getting an attorney and um doing the whole inheritance thing for his offspring. But again, they ended up lynching him, cut out his tongue.
Wow.
And then after they killed him, they told, the children, the offspring, you better get out of Mississippi. They've been fighting. Apparently, the last I heard, they were fighting as late as like 2006, but I haven't did further research. But yeah, his name is Reverend Isaac Williams, and that was back in 42, I believe.
Right.
Oh, and they sold the land once they were able to steal the land from his family. They sold it through auction from the banks for $180, 270 acres of land.
That's
For how much?
$180. Back in
Those
42.
banksters, those small hats again.
Yes. Yes. Some
all right.
monster.
So say, Holly, I got two questions for you as we wrap things up. You didn't get a chance to weigh in on the effects of karma from your perspective, from your New Yorker perspective, and also, one of the problems, and Mama Kelly and I was talking about this earlier this week. When your people from your generation get involved, and if they don't feel protected, they get bought off, scared off, or whatever the case might be. So I need two answers. Number one, what are your thoughts on karma? And number two, what would you say to elders now, Coppertone elders, to get them to back you and the people from your generation as we move through reestablishing our Aboriginal status?
Okay, so when it comes to karma, I see it coming. This country is crashing. I say this corporation is crashing. Okay, people are losing their jobs that they have. You have the transparent people like running. They're going underground. They're going as far as building their own cities because they know karma's coming.
Mhm.
And it's coming fast. I mean, this is the inevitable. It's not going to stop. All they trying to do is slow it down. Is what they can do, but it's coming. Oh yes, Mama Kathy.
I'm sorry to interrupt so much.
Oh no. Please speak.
Okay. A lot of people, if you're listening to mainstream news, you think America is ahead in the so-called war in Iran. and that Israel is actually going to take over, okay? Big lie. Tel Aviv has been destroyed. Their, oil refinery has been destroyed. Dimona, where their nuclear reactors are in Israel, have been destroyed. And don't forget that Dimona is where they put them Negroes on that land back there when Ben Amin, I think they were from Chicago, wanted to go over, not knowing that this is the Holy Land. They wanted to go to that phony Holy Land over there. And they put them on the land that had the nuclear reactor on it.
Oh wow!
So the Jews, I shouldn't have said it. They're running to Argentina,
Of course.
and to America.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons they're trying to put all of our people out so they can house themselves
Wow.
in America.
Yes, they are.
Mhm.
All right.
And I also
Yeah.
wanted to say about the elderly, I don't want them to be afraid because we are out here to back you up. Okay, people from my generation, we are waking up and we are here to back you up because we do need you as well.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Morena. So your generation is in this, I think, in the same range with Holly. What are your thoughts? Your final thoughts on karma, and what would you say to the elders in terms of backing us, joining the Aboriginal movement of reestablishing our Coppertone citizenship?
Yes. Well, I'm definitely will be here with their karma. I'll be sitting with my popcorn, with my legs crossed, and just watching for the show with our glorious, amazing elders. I know you have lost hope. I know, but that's all right. And they attacked us at a young age, selling us that lie about, the Africa, we're from Africa and everything. They really hit it real hard, with our generation. They had to get us young, and they got us for the past, 30 something years. But you know what? We're here. They got rid of a lot of our
That's right.
warriors, but we're still
Yeah.
here. You know, I think about Dr. Khalid Muhammad,
Mhm.
granted, he was misled about the Africa thing, but I tell you, that man was real. At least in my heart of hearts. I haven't heard anything or seen anything else. Mama Kali, you could definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but, we're here. We're here to stand up. It's time. It's time. And I tell you, from what I'm feeling as a spiritual woman, I know the ancestors are angry. They're angry for our mothers to be erased and calling another mother from another land our mothers. That is highly insulting, and it's nothing against, our folks from the other continent, but we need to respect our own blood, So anyway, long story short, and I'm hoping that you're hearing us. We're here.
All right. Hey, Chairman, we didn't hear too much about 3i Atlas, but in your closing statement, you want to say something to the elders and your final thoughts on 3i Atlas?
Well, with 3i Atlas, they've intercepted, or can't say intercepted, but they put one of our satellites that was out of order back in commission.
Yeah.
And that's showing you the power that they have.
What?
Yes. Yes. They put it back on, and they're just showing you, like, okay, that's where the karma's going to come in when they put their feet on planet Earth. They're just showing themselves at a distance and, causing so-called miracles to happen, but they're not miracle. That's just technology that they're so advanced that they're letting us know we're not doing the right thing. But just be assured that they're going to make a difference. And you're talking about karma. You know, it might not happen in this life, but there is a price to pay. And it's something that, you know, with this little 80 years that we have or 100 years, this is short. You know, when you get on the other side, there is no time. It's forever. And I don't want to look at this life as suffering forever for the stupidity that I've done. You know, that's why I'm trying to get it right now in this life.
Yes.
We need to get over that ice wall is what we need to do.
Well, the state space station, you know, if they could look at a dime on the ground, you know what's on the other side of that ice wall. You know, they're just not telling you everything. That's the biggest problem.
Absolutely. Hey, Mama Kelly. Now I know you and I had this conversation about we needing some elders to come in and fortify this frequencies to protect our younger generations. You know, so but with all you got 3 or 4 questions to close out with. It's on you.
Oh man. Okay. When it comes to karma, hey, I have to quote Muhammad Ali. He said he know there's some good white folks out there. Yeah, I know there's a few. Yeah. But he said he wasn't gonna open the door to let a few in when there's 10,000 behind them. And we don't know who they are. But we do know this, they do not want to give up this white privilege. And now they think they have conquered the Holy Land. This is the Holy Land. We have not accepted that. You know, this is the Holy Land. That's what all of those 15th, 16th, 17th century, you know, explorers said they're coming to the Holy Land. That was so full of gold, it was everywhere. I mean, you know, we just wore gold. We didn't see it as anything other than, you know, belonging to the gods. You see, we didn't, it was just something for ornamenting and praising and offering to the gods. Okay?
They
And
turned it into something else.
Oh, say what now, baby?
I'm so sorry. No, they just turned it into something else, you know, monetary.
Oh, well, everything is monetized. Every one of our behinds are monetized right here and now. They monetize everything. And that kind of thing is what their downfall is. That downfall is real. And they are going to go out. I don't care how many bunkers they look. Did you know that that drone that went down in that phony Holy Land over there in the Middle East destroyed the bunker that the you know, the leaders were in? So they brought another clone of the guy who calls himself the prime minister, that the fake Donald Trump pulled a chair out for him to sit at the head of the table here. Okay? Instead of the fake Donald Trump, you know, sitting at the head of a table, he pulled the chair out for this latest clone that they call the prime minister, who a lot of people believe that they know for sure his brother was killed in there and family members, but they got another clone out there. And when I say that, it's real. I'm not just joking. It's real. Why did they put that in our faces? They cloned Tyrone.
Absolutely.
They put it in our faces.
But they always do. We don't listen.
Yeah.
Well, they don't listen.
And so, you know, this is where we are now. And I'm glad to be here today. My technical equipment has been functioning, phones, both of my phones, my laptop, everything, but I'm still here and I'm going to still fight. That's all I got to do.
As you should. As
That-
we should.
We want to give a special thanks to Giselle because it would have been a complete disaster. Giselle is the administrative chief to the legal department, and she stepped up because you can see I can't turn this thing on or off. So, but anyway, what I want to say to those elders, I promise you, if you don't put your property in a trust and designate how it's going to provide for your family members, a roadmap of creating equity, your children are going to fight over the property. I know because my family did the same thing, and the spouses are the ones that be telling them, you go on and sell your parts and get the money out. So the spouse will want to run off with your money. So yep. unless you put together, and you can put together a trust with through our network, through uaaranation.org, and we got some banking systems coming into place. Mama Kelly is a powerful individual and very knowledgeable, and she will be overseeing your money situations, these banking situations that we're bringing online. But you can get started with your trust, and you can get started with your status correction. That sends a message to these entities that are trying to hold on to this demonic system that we are working together, sticking together. We're not playing games with this, and we have oversight and stringent rules on how we're going to handle these accounts. But we will be taking the resources and building infrastructure on land that we have and land that we will be acquiring, reclaiming. So get involved. Go to uaaranation.org. Go through the indigenous or the status correction page, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but just read the whole website, and you'll see that we're coming together. We got people all over the country, and this is a very powerful movement. People are waking up. So also to the elders, we need you to be on the elders committee, and because Mom Kelly and I was talking about it. We need some conscious people, elders that can bring their wisdom and knowledge and experience for our children and our children's children. It's a very simple fix. It's not complicated how we do it, but we're not going to do this supporting the Democrats, the Republicans are trying to protest. That system was never designed for us, period. So anyway, on that note, hopefully next week, I don't know if my son will be back then, but wherever he is, please get in here and handle this engineering piece. This has been the Straight Talk Morning Show on the Straight Talk Network, and we appreciate your patience. But peace out, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Conversation, peace.
Everybody. Peace.
Peace.